What's up, y'all? Mask King JC here, and this is gonna be my review on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1, Phantom Blood. Now, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a very underrated and very old manga. I mean, the thing started all the way back in 1987. 87! That's how old this shit is. And pretty much, the only part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that ever came to the United States was Part 3. And that's pretty sad because this is so underrated. I mean, nobody is even talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I can kind of understand why. I mean, this shit is pretty long. It is long. It's like over 90 something volumes or 100 something volumes, so it's pretty fucking long. So yeah, this is gonna be my view on Part 1. I'm gonna start by talking about, the story, the art, and a couple of the characters. So pretty much the whole plot of Part 1 revolves around Jonathan Joestar, who's like a wealthy kid who lives in Victorian London, and his, the whole interaction, the whole, situation that happens between him and DIO Brando, who is ultimately trying to take over his family estate, to get that money and shit. Now, it's like this whole twist of things happening here. There's some supernatural shit that goes on here. I'm talking about vampires, ripple energy powers, weird shit. Zombies. Yeah, zombies. There are zombies in Part 1. And this is pretty gory too. This is from 87, alright? This was back in the day when Weekly Shonen Jump got away with a whole bunch of shit. I mean, the violence is on some seinen level shit. I'm not gonna say anything that's spoilerific, but there's this one part where one person gets cut in half, like right down the middle, gets cut in half. And I'm not gonna say who, but he gets cut in half. And there's another part where another character, who I'm not gonna mention his name, gets like his entire body cut in half by a fucking chain. A fucking chain! And you can see it. There's no blurring out. There's blood. His arm comes off. His body's cut in half. That's it. It's some gory shit. You can see what they were able to get away with back in the day. Now, today, you're lucky if you see someone get their arm cut off or something, because you could barely get away with that kind of violence today. But the most fucked up thing I've read in Part 1, there's this part where, I probably shouldn't mention it's kind of fucked up, but I'm only gonna say it involves a woman and a baby, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's really fucked up. Really fucked up. But yeah, on to the art. The art's really good. I think this came out I think each chapter came out weekly, so I was very surprised to see how good the art was, because the art's like very detailed. Although it gets a little sloppy at points where it's kind of hard to make out what's going on sometimes. But the art is very detailed. The outfits, like the costumes that most of the characters wear, are very unique, interesting. And it kind of has that Victorian England feel to it, because this was set, the main setting of the story is in England, and you could pretty much tell it's in England by some of the attire some of the characters wear. And the character designs are pretty alright, although it does get a little bit off portion at times, because there's some times where characters will have like small heads and huge muscular bodies and shit, and they'll be standing like this in weird positions and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But the art's still very good, especially for something that came out in 87. The characters, Jonathan Joestar, he's pretty okay. I like him, but he's a pretty okay character. There's nothing like really special about him. Zeppeli is very interesting, although he didn't stick around very long, but he's very interesting. And who else? Oh, Speedwagon. Speedwagon, I do not like Speedwagon. He fucking sucks. He's completely fucking useless. He is utterly, completely fucking useless. He's more useless than Sakura. I'm fucking serious. He's like, Mr. Joestar, look out! Mr. Joestar, oh no, no! He doesn't do shit except state the obvious. He's pretty much Mr. Exposition. He just says shit that's happening. He's like, oh man, that guy over there is running towards the other guy. Will he be able to defeat him? Oh no! Fucking bullshit. DIO. DIO, he's a pretty generic villain. He is very generic. He's pretty much evil for the sake of being evil. He has no other reason just to be evil. He was pretty much evil since birth, which is, I don't know how that's possible, but he's evil since birth. He's not really, he's pretty silly. He's campy. He's very campy and hammy, but that's probably one of the things that make him somewhat likable, of how campy he is. But I will give part 1 some slack because it did come out in '87, and back then some of this stuff was still, you know, kind of fresh, but by today's terms, no, it would seem generic by today's terms. So if this came out in this time period, it would be very generic and not a lot of people would like it. What was I gonna say? Oh, cheesy. Yeah, it's a little cheesy at times. The dialogue sometimes can be very cheesy. It's just like this one part where Zeppeli, he was about to get hit by like this bunch of flying debris that were coming right at him, and for like 2 pages, he's like, "Oh no, the debris coming at me. What should I do? Should I duck? Should I jump backwards? Oh no, what should I do? What should I do?" And the debris is still coming at him. Yet he has time to think about what he's going to do. So that right there was just pretty silly. There's a lot of silly shit in here. Yeah, we get introduced to some characters like near like the final volume that don't do shit. They're like a couple characters, I'm not gonna say their names, that get introduced that don't do shit. In fact, there's this one guy who was introduced and he dies in like next 2 chapters. And I don't know why Araki, that's the mangaka's name, I don't know why he wanted to give some characters names even though he's gonna kill them off that easily, but whatever. I also mentioned the word campy. Yeah, it does get a little campy. No, it does get very campy at times, pretty much. Especially during the fights, it does get kind of campy. Although the fights are pretty interesting, you know, the way they're done. You know, they're kind of you know, unique, I guess you could say. But besides that, there's nothing really special about part 1. Part 1 isn't like the thing that got many people hooked on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's part 3 that got people hooked. But part 1, it's still good. I mean, it's not like amazing. In fact, it's pretty generic. It is pretty generic. So, I would say it's decent. Yeah, it's decent at best. The end is kind of tragic. There's a tragic ending. It's pretty tragic. But it pretty much lays down the foundation for like the other parts that are going to come after this one. But overall, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, good art, okay story, characters are alright. You know, DIO's a dick. DIO is a fucking dick. Seriously, he's a fucking dick, man. He's just plain fucking evil. Just so fucking evil. This piece of shit motherfucker. So fucking evil. He doesn't even have a reason. He's like, I'm just evil for being evil. I'm just evil for the sake of it. Like, this motherfucker, he's a fucking dick. Fuck DIO. Fuck that motherfucker. Fuck him. But yeah, overall, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is okay. No, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1 is okay. I enjoyed it, but overall, it was kind of generic. It was kind of meh, but still okay. If you guys want to check it out, I'll put like a link in the description where you can read it. It's not Manga Reader or Manga Fox because those places are like unreliable. So yeah, this is Master King JC. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.